is going on? Good morning. Saturday morning, Woodward Bets back in the house. Scott, I mean, look at this guy looking chipper here. Usually we get you on Saturday morning. You look like you were laying in the weeds with your Rainier, but this guy ready to rock here. Salute the troops on the whiteboard. I love it. If you missed our show yesterday, we talked about our Christmas program we're going to be doing here. Stuff a Studio by the Woodward Sports Network has put this together. Really excited about this. So want to bring it to light here once again. All you have to do is bring a toy to the studio to donate. All these toys are going to go to Mott Children's Hospital out in Ann Arbor. The studio was stuffed with toys last season. Over $70,000 in toys were donated. So we want to top that this year and make Christmas special for all these little kids at Mott's Children's Hospital. You know, we talked about it yesterday, Scott. You know, it's they do some great work there. Obviously, a lot of these kids are not going to have the Christmas that we want them to, but we want to make that. We want to make a difference. We want to get these toys to them. So again, if you want to donate a toy, you can bring it to the studio. If you're at the studio, you may run into some faces that you know. You know, Braylon Edwards, Joik Bell, Darren McCarty, Ryan Armani, to name a few. If you can't make it into the studio, head over to woodwardsports.com. And it'll walk you through how to make a donation there. But Scott, super excited. Our first year involved with this program, but a very, very a great program, something near and dear to my heart as a veteran, and I'm excited to be a part of this here with the Stuff Studio campaign here for 2021.
Yeah, we got a fun day. We got that Army-Navy game, which is always fun. But yeah, that Stuff Studio is really special. I mean, last year they had 70K worth of toys that they sent over, unused, unwrapped toys. I mean, you don't have to worry about young children. There's 13-year-olds, there's 14-year-olds. So we'll take a whole different array of different kind of toys. So send them on over. And if you can't make it out there to the studio, which is a really fun place, it's a really fun atmosphere. A lot of fun to check that out. But if you can't make it over there, just get over there at our website and make a donation. We definitely appreciate that. I mean, Chris, we're giving out free winners all the time. So if you should, just little appreciation over to us. Mention, hey, for the guys over at the Bet Show, here's some toys for the kids. We definitely appreciate that. But we're gonna get some more winners today, Chris, so we can get some more money so we can donate over to over to those kids. But great program that they're running. Excited to be a part of that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The lunch money here recently is going to these campaigns and these causes for sure. So hopefully we can generate some winnings out there for everybody, and come by the studio. Not only is it the studio, but Lady Jane's, we're gonna give a shout out to them as well. You can get your hair cut while you're here. So two birds with one stone at the studio. But super excited again to be a part of this. So again, all the information. Head over to woodwardsports.com. Top right corner, you'll see it right there. But it's as easy as drop a gift off or hit that link online to help out. So as far as we're concerned, follow us at Woodward Bets. As always on Twitter, welcome to our friends over on Twitch. If you're watching us there, I've just started that a few days ago, so excited to be there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button there as well. So Scott, for today, pretty limited show today. We're going to talk about this Army-Navy game. We're going to discuss some other happenings in the college football world. So kind of a quick show today. Tomorrow, you're going to want to come back at 9 a.m. Everything NFL. We're going to talk bets. We're going to talk DFS. We're going to talk season long. We're going to hit it hard for an hour, taking your questions as well. You guys have sit-start questions. You have, trades are probably gone now, but any dynasty questions, DFS questions, should I play this guy or that guy? Who's your favorite value play? Should I bet this total? We are here for you, so excited for that. Come on back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We'll be talking NFL for an hour with you. But Scott, before we talk Army-Navy, we're also going to touch on some other bowl games that are kicking off next Friday. So we brought it up the other day. We want to do a college football pool with the listeners. So Scott, I know you're kind of spearheading this thing. So why don't you give the listeners an idea of what we're thinking here on this college bowl pool?
Yeah, we're trying to just line it all up quite yet, make sure everything's in line, but we're going to end up having a sheet. We'll be able to download. You guys can put in your picks, and we'll get an email. We'll have it sent back, and we'll run us a free pool. Depending on how many listeners we get, we'll be able to give out different prizes. That's for sure. We'll announce all that once we get it all situated. But yeah, next Friday we got 2 games kicking off, Chris. So it's always fun getting in there, filling out your bracket. It's almost like a bracket kind of thing. Yeah, I've been in a bowl pool one time, Chris, where everybody's entry, which is something that I think you would enjoy, was a case of beer. So we'd get 20
Oh,
some guys, and then the winners would get these beers. So if you won, all of a sudden the dude who was running the pool would show up to your porch, which happened to me a couple times, and he's dropping off 20 some cases of beer. And that was a lot of fun. So those kind of bowl pools are fun. And Chris, when you're looking at your bowl pools and stuff like that, do you have a method that you usually do? I know there's a lot of different TV shows, there's different places you can go and look, or I mean, do you just pull up the lines and kind of just wing it? I mean, and especially nowadays, these kids are sitting out too, if they think they're a pro prospect, like this Pittsburgh quarterback, all of a sudden that line in that Sparty game went from them getting 3.5, and all of a sudden they're minus a point. So, things can change, but a lot of times you got to lock these in, December 17th, and they're going to go all the way through New Year's Day. So, you get 2 solid weeks of college football, which is a lot of fun. But I love getting in all these bowl pools. Definitely a good time.
yeah, I'm a news junkie. I'm always on Twitter. I'm paying attention to a lot of this stuff and taking mental notes, taking physical notes as well. I mean, Scott, we're not getting any younger. If I don't write stuff down, it's gone. So things like this that I
Like
hear,
Beastie.
I'm right. Not quite the beastie level. I mean, that guy's no, and Braylon, another guy, takes a ton of notes. I love it because I am as old school as they come. But so I'm jotting things like that down, and then I look at the whole card, and I just kind of go through and find the ones you feel really good about. Those obviously are the ones at the top. The teams I don't know about as much about, I try to study up on them as well. And I think that's where your edge is. Most people joining these things, it's kind of like an NCAA bracket, like you mentioned. They're not going to be as knowledgeable on some of these teams that they've never heard of. That's where I want to find my edge. I want to know about Northeast Louisiana State. I want to know about some of these schools that people have never heard of. So those are the games I think you can really find the edge in, is these, this 36 bowl game on the sheet that nobody really cares about. That's where you can find the edge. So I just try to put in a lot of time, a lot of energy into it and go that route. So as in anything in life, Scott, I think if you outwork people, then the results are going to show. And that's really, when you boil it all down, that's what I'm trying to do in a college bowl pool, in a fantasy football league, life in general. Just put in the work, and the rewards will certainly be there.
Yeah, that is definitely true in DFS too. If you're looking, you're putting in the work, you come up with a process, you generally do pretty well. And that's another thing here. You're going to do the work, put in a process, and go for that. So yeah, I always like to hear what different people like to look at. I know there's different kind of pools, confidence pools, stuff like that. If you're in just a pick 'em pool, I'd recommend, if there's any kind of spreads higher than maybe 2 touchdowns, I mean, that's like a 1 versus 8 seed, Chris, 16 seed. You just circle it and you move on. You don't have to put too much thought. You get into them games that are 4 or 5 and less. Those are the games you want to really research. And you got to think about it too. These mid-level conferences, playing some of these teams that may be disappointed in some of the bowl games they're going to, and maybe are going to be missing some players. Those are the teams I like to try to jump on, because that really does mean a lot to some of these schools to get to these bowl games. So yeah, a lot of fun. And Chris, we were talking about this Army Navy game, and kind of segue into what we're going to talk about. And another thing that means a lot to these guys here is this Army Navy. And on Veterans Day, Chris, I think you recall, I had a good buddy of mine, Sergeant Major Brian Stover. He's retired now, but I asked him the question, Chris, what does this Army Navy game mean to you and mean to all the fellas out there in the field? Because he's done a handful of tours, so he was I thought was definitely a guy. I always just watch that game, and I always wonder, do they all get into it like this? Is this really a big deal for all these branches in our service?
Oh yeah.
And I was definitely interested in his answer. So I think we got that here. Sawyer, do we have that for everybody? Like, what does that Army Navy game mean to all you guys? Like, even though you're retired, when you're out in the field, maybe overseas, whatever else, like, what does that mean to you guys? Do you guys like bet on that? Do you guys I mean, like what goes on? Like what goes with that game?
That's a pretty big deal, right? So it's an inter-service collision between us and the Navy. The service academy is relevant for 1 week out of the year, right? So they get at the national um, stage, and it's a lot of tradition. I had a chance a couple of times in Washington D.C. to go see them play at FedEx Field, and it was an awesome event to attend. Uh, Getting the Commander's Cup is a big deal, and it's a big deal for your service. My last deployment, I did 15 of them. My last one, I was all over the place, but my home station was in Baghdad, Iraq, and I was working for a 3-star headquarters, and it was a coalition and joint headquarters. So we had a lot of Marines, a lot of Navy, a lot of Air Force, and of course my commander was a West Point graduate, so he just drove it home on everybody, and it was a real big deal that week. And people were wearing jerseys and writing things on dry erase boards and sending memes, and it was just a real fun, energetic week being overseas. You know, we've got a tough job over there. We're away from our family and our friends, and a lot of things that's happening back here in the States aren't relevant for us forward. But that was something that was super special, super energetic, super relevant. We had a great cohesive team. I think we had 76 nations in our coalition, and bringing them in on the fun and having them pick sides. And I'm sure there was a lot of side betting. I can't say that I did or did not participate. All I can say is I had a great time with the team over there, and go Army, beat Navy.
Love it. Love it. I mean, I love the part. I'm not going to say if I participated or not. I mean, that's fantastic. So he's not wrong. This game means a lot to a lot of people. It's a spotlight game. They don't mix it in with other games. You know, it's an island game. Always intriguing. So why don't let's just get into it while we're here. We're gonna talk some college football awards and all that. We'll get to that here. But while we're here, Scott, let's break down this game. As you see on the screen there, Army -7, but the total is what always stands out here. 34.5 on this game. So this is always a very low scoring game. Last year, 15-0. You know, the one year was 31-7 back in 2019, but 17-10, 14-13, 21-17. It's never a high scoring game. These are two. If you've never seen Army or Navy, get some time today and watch this game. It's very entertaining. And some people don't like these kind of games where there's not, you know, the 80-point total, but these teams love to run the ball, and some of these formations that you're going to see, and it's incredible. I find it very, very interesting to watch this game, Scott. That being said, betting wise, you know, we're definitely going to partake in the betting here. We're Woodward Bets. It's what we do. So thoughts overall on this game? I'm excited to watch it. Any thoughts on the total, the spread here as well? -7, 34.5. Uh-oh, we got a mute here. A Saturday morning mute.
I didn't want to interrupt the Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major there, but you know, I didn't want to disturb him there. But hey, looking at this game, I mean, 10 in a row unders here, and we're not talking by just the slimmest of margins. The closest one we had was by 3 points, but I mean, we're talking 21. Last year was 36, 15-0. I mean, we're talking a difference of 21 points, 3.5, 11.5, 17.5, 8.5, 12, 28. I mean, these guys are severely under this these totals here year after year. But yeah, this one's interesting. We got so far what this year here. Army is 8-3, Navy is 3-8. Against the spread, Army is 6-5. Navy is 7-4. They're almost kind of like our Lions. They can't win on the field, but they've been covering the spread. But this one here, as we mentioned, these last 10 years, just being under here. But I think this game here, Chris, if I'm to look at it, I kind of like the under. I like to go with the unders in the first halves. And this one here is 17. So I'm going to actually go with the under in the first half of this game. And if I win, I might probably double it up there in the second half. But yeah, I think I like the under in this game, as you mentioned. Both these teams are just going to run. And this may be a game like we saw without the snow that on Monday night with New England and Buffalo, where it was like a snow globe, and they threw the ball 3 times that game. I think this
Yep.
is going to be something similar here. So, yeah, I think that 34.5 is actually safe. I think people are going to be teased into that number. They're going to think, oh, these teams are going to score more than that. But Chris, I don't even know if we're going to get 24 points in this game. I could see this one being like a 17-3 game, a 20-3 game, something like that, 21-3.
Yeah, that 34.5, you know, a casual better's be like, how can they not score 35 points? I mean, this is the lowest total I've ever seen. This is the easiest bet on the board. I'm staying away from the total. I mean, these games can be ugly for sure. I mean, it can be a 10-3 type game, 13-3. So that being said, I think Army is the much better team here, not just looking at their records. We've seen that play out. Navy, it's been a struggle this season. They have scored some points in some games. They've played some decent teams, but I think Army really controls this one. And you know, the spread has gotten as high as 8 at some places. There is a 6.5 out there if you can find that, but right on that 7. I really like Army, so I don't hate your bet at all. I think this one could get off to a slow start. The second half is always where teams are scrambling, put points on the board. But the feeling out process here in the beginning always lends to that first half under. So I like that. For me, I think Army wins this one pretty handily. So don't mind laying the 7 here with Army in this one. So quick look at that game, Scott. Let's talk some college football awards while we're on the topic here. We saw the other night some interesting awards handed out. So Kenneth Walker wins the Walter Camp National Player of the Year, the Doak Walker Award, which goes to the top running back annually. But this guy is not in New York for the Heisman. I mean, the first time in the history of the Walter Camp Award that person is not in New York. So this is interesting. We've talked about Kenneth Walker. I was okay with it. Like, you know, we talked about some of the things, the deficiencies, and some of the big games he didn't show up. And you know, honestly, we talked about the Heisman being a "what have you done for me lately," where his stock was trending down, Aiden Hutchinson's was trending up, and you saw that kind of play out. But this feels, how do you win a National Player of the Year award in one panel's eyes, and you can't even be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy? Seems a little backwards here in college football.
Yeah, they just had to do that just to throw a little bit more fuel on the fire over here in Michigan. I think, you know, they're just sitting there stirring up the pot, Chris. You know, that gif where the dude's bringing out his chair so he can sit down and watch all the drama about to take place. I think that's what they ended up doing there. But I think this just goes to show you that that award is just more of a quarterback award than even ever before. I mean, it just seems like if there's not any really good quarterbacks, that's when maybe they go outside the position and maybe look at like a wide receiver or a running back. But as I mentioned a week or so ago when this all came out, I mean, you take away Walker's best game, you take away his worst game, and you look at what's in the middle. I mean, those numbers are they're decent. Don't get me wrong. He definitely was the best player on Michigan State. They had a great season. They overperformed. I understand all that, but for me, I think if you win the Heisman as a running back or in that discussion, I mean, you got to have Derrick Henry-esque type numbers week in and week out to even get there. So we didn't see that. It's not like one of the best performances in running back history. I mean, it's not even being even discussed as something like that. I mean, if he had some astronomical year, and I mean, he definitely should be there. But it just seems like they already had it locked in on either Stroud or the kid from Alabama who's going to end up winning. And it's like they invite the token defensive player. You know, they got to show the defensive player, and then they got to at least bring another guy, maybe like a wide receiver. They got to do something along those lines. So it's like it's just a bunch of BS. But I mean, who wants to go up and there it is? Who wants to go up to New York in the winter anyway? I mean, I feel bad for the kid if it was like down in Miami or Hawaii or something like that. But it's cold, Chris. I mean, I'm sure he's got better things to do than wander up New York. But all these awards, though, good for him. It's going to get him paid as he gets in the NFL, that's for sure. So I could see him being, you know, maybe a top low end first round pick, maybe a second round pick from what I've heard on the streets. But we'll see what ends up happening come draft time. But good for the Spartans and good for Walker here winning these awards.
I gotta call you out here. I mean, you keep saying who wants to be in New York, like it's an island paradise here in Michigan. You know, yeah, we had a nice day yesterday. It was near 50 degrees, but it's damn cold here. He's not worried about the cold. I'm sure he's feeling the snub for sure. It just, it makes you scratch your head on, again,
Neither
we
states
talked
want to
about.
stay up here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I was okay with it because it is what it is, and that's generally where I land on things. There's nothing you can do to change it here. But how he wins a National Player of the Year award, but can't be even a finalist for the Heisman. You also had, Mel Tucker's the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Jim Harbaugh wins the National Coach of the Year. So that one doesn't make much sense either. So just very
Right.
strange. And then Aiden Hutchinson is a finalist for the Heisman, doesn't win any of the lineman awards out there. So just strange happenings. I don't know if there's more to this. And you mentioned the behind the scenes and the guy with the chair, but thoughts on that stuff? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the Harbaugh thing. I mean, winning National Coach of the Year, and then Tucker wins the Big Ten. I mean, it's kind of like how can you win one and not the other? It does seem kind of silly, but I just think it just goes to show you. I mean, Chris, do these writers really even pay attention anymore what they're voting for? I mean, I'm starting to question all this. I mean, I see these votes for the Baseball Hall of Fame, and you see these college football playoff votes, and you see these award votes. It's like, are there interns voting for this shit when they get the email? Like, what are they doing here? But just to clarify my position in New York, hey, us in New York or Michigan, or New York and Michigan don't like to be up here. That's why when you go to Florida and you go to these warmer states, it's all snowbirds. Everybody goes down there. Like, I mean, that's the whole point. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, so nobody likes to stay up here in the cold. I don't blame anybody. Warm weather is definitely what I'm looking for. Hey, I'm getting to be spoiled this week here later in the week. As you know, I'm going down to Miami, so maybe that's what's stuck in my head. I just want to get out of here and go to some warm weather. But yeah, these awards, how they passed them out this year is quite bizarre. That's for sure.
I mean, the way I equate it is, say I'm named All State, but I'm not All Conference. Like that's a national award is over all of the conferences. So that's the equivalent, as a player. I'm All State, but I can't even make my All Conference team. So it just doesn't make sense. But again, it is what it is. We can't change it. I just thought we'd bring it up. I hear a lot of people talking about it out there in the college football world. So, Scott, we got some more bowl games coming up on Friday night, so we're not going to go super in depth. But to kick off the bowl season, we got the Bahamas Bowl, Middle Tennessee State, and Toledo. Toledo 10-point favorites in that one, 52-point total. We also have you ready for this one? The Tailgrader Cure Bowl. I mean, some of these bowl names are just unreal. I don't even know where they come up with these things, but we got Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina 10-point favorites, 63.5 on that total. So any initial thoughts on these games? We're not going to go super in depth here. Next week we'll be tuning in a little bit more to the bowl games, getting you guys ready for your bowl pools, and we hope to have our own bowl pool ready with you guys, the listeners out there. But Scott, Friday night tonight, the Cure Bowl. This one still kind of trips me up. But any thoughts on these games? We got a couple 10-point favorites here on Friday night.
Yeah, that Bahamas Bowl, that'd be a decent one to go visit there. And
that ain't bad.
Yeah, that would be fun. I actually heard that one's a nightmare to go to as a football program because you got to have your whole team has to have all their passports and everything in line, and to get a bunch of guys together and get all that straight. I can imagine that that's a nightmare. So good for Toledo. I think everybody in the MAC, I think they're all get ready for that just in case they are invited down to the Bahamas Bowl. But interesting one there. But yeah, -10. I think Toledo should be in a pretty good spot here. 64% of the bets so far coming in on Toledo. If I had to pick just a straight up winner for a bowl pool, I'd definitely go with Toledo here. And then probably take Toledo against the spread as well. I don't really have a lean on the over under, but definitely circling Toledo in a pick 'em pool.
Yeah, for sure. As far as that other game, I know Coastal Carolina has been a story this season, but I think Northern Illinois can hang with them. So the 10 feels a little bit too high in that one. So as far as who wins the game, it's probably Coastal Carolina, but Northern Illinois have been pretty good against the number this year. So it feels a tad too high for me. So I don't mind grabbing that one early, actually. I think this one could fall under 10. So if I can get it double digits, I like locking in Northern Illinois, even against the spread in your confidence pools. I feel pretty good about that one. If it's just straight up winners, there's so many different pools, so many different ways to do it. I do think Coastal Carolina wins this one, but I think we get a tighter game than that spread indicates. So we will touch more on college football again next week. So that's pretty much it for today. We're taping early here in the morning, so we do have some NBA on tap for tonight. Scott, 7 games on the docket. So we're not going to get into NBA. If we give NBA advice right now, those guys are all going to be hurt, injured, scratched, late scratch. They're sitting for rest. So I don't want to do that to the people. So rather than that, head over to Woodward Bets. We're going to hook you up with best bets for the NBA on our Twitter account. So come on back closer to lock time, and we'll give you the best bets that you're looking for. So we're not going to give a ton on the show here. In fact, I think we gave them, Scott, in that Army-Navy game. So we can recap for the people here. I'm just going to keep it to the one. The rest, you're going to have to head over to Woodward Bets on Twitter to get some NBA winners for tonight. So a reminder, tomorrow morning is NFL, 9 to 10. We'll be watching the chat. We want to talk to you guys. We love the interaction in that show. So make sure you guys are getting up early and joining us for that with any of your questions. Sit, start, DFS, betting questions, whatever it may be, we will handle those. So, Scott, let's wrap this thing up. Quick show here on Saturday morning, but best bets, has anything changed here in your best bets? I'm guessing that first half under still locked in for you here in this Army-Navy game.
Yep, Army-Navy game. I'm going first half under 17, and I'm going to sit back and watch these two teams play some smash mouth football. Should be a lot of fun. And you know what? Since my buddy there was on the Army side, I'm going to root for Army and bet on them as well. And so let's go Army.
Yeah, I'm back in Army here as well. Minus the 7. I have family members on both sides of this game, so I got to tread lightly on who I cheer for. But as far as a bet goes, I can lock that in. Army minus the 7. My best bet here again for tonight. If you're looking for NBA best bets, again, Twitter at Woodward Bets. We'll get those posted here closer to lock. Any interesting news, we'll get that going here as well. So make sure you're following us over there. Make sure you're following the network at Woodward Sports as well. And again, join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., talking some NFL football, top to bottom on that main slate. Scott bets, DFS plays, excited for that. So final thoughts for the people here on Saturday. What do we got?
Sounds like a lot of fun for tomorrow. Looking forward to this NFL slate. Like you said, we're trying to get that qualifier seat over there down there for DK. So make sure you join us. We'll dive into that. Try to dig us out some gems that get us at the top of these leaderboards. But as we said, just going to sit around and watch some Army Navy today. It's supposed to be a nice warm day here today in Metro Detroit. So might be your last chance to get out there and put up them Christmas lights if you haven't done so already too.
Which I'm slacking on, and my kids have certainly let me know. So that's the plan here. This show finishes. That's the next stop. Before that Army-Navy game kicks off, Christmas lights will be going up. So thank you to everybody for watching. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you. Spread the word. If you enjoy the show, you enjoy the free bets that we've been giving you, hopefully they've been productive. Let your friends know. And want to remind you again, Stuff a Studio going on. Bring a toy to the network here in downtown Birmingham. Get a haircut while you're here from the lovely ladies over at Lady Jane's. But all next week, we'll be collecting toys that will go to Mott Children's Hospital out in Ann Arbor. You can also donate online at woodwardsports.com. So plenty of ways to get involved with this. I know we're going to be highly involved with it as well. Such a great cause. So excited to see how many toys we can generate here. So let them know. The Woodward Bets team sent us out. Bring those toys in droves, especially when these bets end up hitting today. Spend a few extra dollars and let's get these donations ramped up and fill that studio up. So excited for that. So for Scott, for our boy Spencer behind the glass, I am Beer. We are Woodward Bets. Enjoy that Army-Navy game today. Best of luck with your NBA bets tonight, and we will see you in the morning talking NFL. Thank you for watching. We're out.